Today I will show you how to make this deadly metal text. Yo, it's Povikas here, and let's begin. Alright guys, so once you're in After Effects, you can go to the text tool, and here you can just press on nowhere, and now you can just type your text. So I'm going to type metal, because this is going to be the deadly metal text, and now you need to change the font. So you can select all of your letters, and go to the character, and here I'm going to go to font, and I'm going to type deadly ground. Now this font is from the Creative Fabrica website, so you can get it from there. But there's actually also another really crazy font that's also completely free. It's called MB Forever Raw, so you can pick whatever one of these you want. So with the Deadly Ground it will look like this, and with the MB Forever Raw it's gonna look like that. So both are cool, but I like Deadly Ground for this a bit more. And now I'm gonna go to align, and I'll press on this and on this. And here we can press S to scale it up, and you can just scale it up to like maybe like this. I don't know, do what you want. And once you have made your text, we can actually press Ctrl D on it to just make a duplicate, and we can call this duplication, and I will use this duplication to show you different versions of this effect. But I'm gonna turn off the duplication and go back to the metal. And here on metal, the first effect I'll add is going to be exposure. Now why I like to add exposure is to make it even brighter, so I'm gonna make it to 1.33. Now it's not gonna do much like this, but you will see when I start adding effects it's actually going to have an effect. So now I'm going to add S tint, and with S tint I'm just going to keyframe the tint lights to white, and then I'm gonna go one frame forward, and here in tint lights I'm gonna go back to tint lights, and I'm going to pick something like this of a color. Yeah, something like that, and press OK, kind of like a blue, and I'll press U, and I'll go one frame forward, and I'll make the tint lights here to white again. So it's pretty much going to flicker like this, and I am going to hold Alt and press on the stopwatch, and here I'm going to type a simple command, loop out like this, press on it and press back. So what it's going to do is basically flicker like this. So now let's add STV damage. Oh yeah, I did forget to say that for most of these effects you will need a Sapphire plugin, so I'm kind of sorry for that. And now we can add our first optional effect, which is glow. Actually, S tint was also an optional effect, like you don't need it, but it's going to give you like that cool flicker that you saw. And the glow, as you can see, kind of does it like this. Now this kind of already starts to look cool, but with glow I just like to make the glow intensity a bit lower to 0.3, although I sometimes like to have it kind of high. And I'm going to make the glow radius to 38 and the glow threshold to 100. And now I like to add S shake, and on S shake I like to turn on motion blur to give it a bit more blur, but obviously as you can see this is way too high of a shake, so let's turn it down a bit. So I'm gonna make the amplitude to 0.05 to make the shake be way less, and actually that's kind of it. And now I'm going to add probably the most important effect here, which is called Signal. Now I absolutely love this effect, but it is a plugin. As you can see, that already looks really cool. One more thing until we move on, let's go back to S tint, and actually here I want to change it to scale the lights to 1.5. It's not gonna do much, but it's just a little tweak. Now go back to signal, and we can make the signal strength here to 10. It's going to bring out a bit more color. If you bring it even more down, it's going to bring out way more color. As you can see, that is really cool, and you can have that as an option, but I'm just gonna keep it to 10. And I'm going to make the signal amplification really high. I'll make it to 28, and as you can see that pops out like that. But I'm also going to make the cutoff filter to the absolute maximum that you can go to. So I don't even know what that is, like 1 million or something. And I'm gonna go to hue noise, and I'll make it to 85. And if you want, you can go to luma modulation, and you can turn off the tape errors, and you can turn off the turn on and off. Now you can keep it on, but you can turn it off. And now we can add another glow. Now this glow I like to make it to 32.2% on the threshold. The glow radius to 152. Now obviously you have to turn on the glow, so I'll make the glow intensity like 0.15. And now let's add Gaussian blur to make it a bit blurry, because we want to damage it. So I'm gonna make it to 2, and I'll turn on the repeat edge pixels. And now let's add S flicker to give a bit more of a flicker. And here I like to make the amplitude really high to like 0.68. You can even make it a bit higher. And it's just going to flicker even more than we have right now. And now it's very important to add unsharp mask, and here I like to make the amount to 200, and I like to make the radius to 5, and I also like to add mosaic, and here make the horizontal blocks to 200 and vertical blocks to 200. Now we add mosaic to damage the quality like a lot. As you can see, that is damaged incredibly, but but now we can also add fast box blur to hide the damage a bit more. So I'm gonna make the blur radius to 4. Alright, and now let's add hue saturation. And here I like to decrease the saturation to something like -46 to make it a bit darker. And now we pretty much have made this crazy text. Now what you can do is press S and scale it more, even more. I mean, the more you scale up, the less blur you'll see. You can actually make the blur radius maybe to like 3.1 because that is a little bit too much blur, and actually we can make the radius so something like 6, and that is going to be a really damaged text. As you can see, that is absolutely amazing. I mean, I absolutely love a text like that. If you want to make this even edgier, you can also add liquify, and here you'll get this tool and you can just drag this point down and then just like paint over your text to make it edgier, to like make the edges pop out as much as you want, you know, just make it look cooler. And you can actually make the top edges go up as well. Like I'm just dragging them with my mouse right now. And now what you can do is you can keyframe the distortion percentage, press U to see all of the keyframes. And this distortion percentage, we can like put it to the end of our clip. So let's say we want to end the text right here. So I'll press Ctrl Shift D and delete. So this is going to be the last frame of my text. So at the start frame of my text, I'll make the liquify to 0. So it's going to have an animation where this just gets stretched out and it's just gonna look really, really cool. And now I want to show you how to make even cooler texts way faster. So for that, we can go back to the duplication and I'm gonna uncheck the metal. I'm gonna go to effects and presets, animation presets, user presets, Opium presets, and in my Opium presets pack, I have these Opium text effects. So I like to drag down Opium text to refree, and this is pretty much how I make my crazy text. Usually I just drag and drop these presets and I get a crazy result just like that. Now you can actually animate this. So like for example, you can press S and keyframe the scale at the start like this. And now we can go to the ending. And this is a really cool trick I like to do with the scale. I like to scale it up. But not only that, I like to also press on this button to uncheck the constraints. And I'm gonna make this part just a little bit higher. Yeah, like that. And now I'm gonna select all of these keyframes, press F9, go to the graph editor and go to the edit value graph. And in this graph, I'm just gonna drag this point like this and this point high up in the sky like that. You can actually drag this point forward as well like that. Have a graph like this. I'll press Ctrl Shift D and delete it. And this is actually how I made my want this text at the start of the intro. I mean, that is just brilliant and super fast to make. Now I'm gonna delete this effect and I want to show you Opium text free. Now, as you can see, that just looks absolutely crazy. And as you might know, the Opium style has been popularized by Ken Carson and Playboy Cardi. So I have this cool Opium presets pack, which gives you pretty much the presets. I'm only showing you right now the Opium text presets. Opium normal effect presets are even crazier than these. Just so you know, like the other ones you can use on top of any clips and you can just mess around a lot. And yeah, with Opium text presets, you'll get this. And for the last variation, I like to do a lot on my deadly metal texts for my Opium presets, as I like to drag down Opium text 720x480. But this effect is actually specifically made for 720x480 compositions. But there's a bit of a cheat here. If you go down to the effects in Opium text 720x480, you can turn off the transform to, and you will be able to use the text in this composition. Now that just looks insane. And the best part about these Opium presets, by the way, I forgot to mention, is you don't need to have any of the Sapphire plugins or whatever. You don't have to have any paid plugins for these presets. They just require completely no paid plugins. And my Opium presets pack is on my powikas.com website, which is my website with all of my crazy presets packs that I created to help video editors just like yourself. But anyways, let's go back to the metal text that we had previously made. And if you want to actually make this look even cooler, you can press Ctrl+Y and you can go to effects and presets and type TV flicker. Now, TV flicker loop is going to be a preset that I will link in the description. It's going to be completely free. I have made it for you guys and you can just drag and drop it on the adjustment layer. And it's going to add this crazy TV flicker as like a broken TV would have. And it's just going to look absolutely crazy. Also guys, just so you know, like the TV flicker also works on the Opium presets effects as well. As you can see, that looks really, really cool. You just have these two combinations and they just look insane here. So yeah, tell me what you guys think about this text. I absolutely love it. And if you have any other suggestions for tutorials, then please let me know. And also guys, since you've made it this far into the video, I have to let you know that if you use code POWIKAS at the checkout, you will save $5 off on the Opium presets pack, which is just a beautiful pack for these type of of ads. But anyways guys, that's about it for the video. If you have any questions then please let me know. But anyways, it was fun. Have a fun and productive day. See ya.